Admiral's Log. In the annals of naval warfare, certain vessels achieve legendary status through acts of extraordinary valor and resilience. The Demos Tejalis, a relatively old battlecruiser with an already distinguished service record, has now ascended to such legendary heights. In a recent engagement, despite sustaining critical damage, the crew displayed unparalleled determination and skill, keeping the ship in the fight and ultimately sinking an Italian battleship twice her size. The bravery and tenacity of the Demos crew have earned them the highest honors. In recognition of this extraordinary achievement, I've ordered that their story be disseminated across all news media, to serve as a beacon of inspiration for the Chinese people everywhere. The tale of the Demos is more than just a story of naval prowess. It's a symbol of our collective strength and our resilience. It exemplifies the unwavering courage that defines our nation and the unbreakable bond between our sailors and their vessels. As the news spreads, I hope it ignites a renewed sense of pride and determination among our citizens, reinforcing the belief that no challenge is insurmountable when faced with unity and resolve. Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome to episode 53. Two more Italian battleships find themselves up against the Chinese Navy. The Chinese Navy currently led by the grumpy gamer Guy. 15-inch guns sport on this battleship. We also have a couple of these torpedo spamming cursed fish ships. We have the Ligny, a couple of cruisers, a couple of lights, and a DD. This should be sufficient to get rid of these battleships, especially knowing that the Castelfidardo class tends to be a bit vulnerable when it comes to torpedo protection. Some of these ships have indeed seen some combat, such as the René Pascal. Thankfully, that does not affect their torpedoes. These ships are still very capable when it comes to landing a lot of torps. As for my destroyer, I'm thinking of just adding that in with the light cruiser division, even though it is on the other side of the fleet, but that's fine. The heavy cruisers I'm going to aggressively push forward, both to be able to land and launch torps, but also to get rid of all of those smaller ships. Now, as for the Italian ships, these battleships tend to be very heavily armed, as well as heavily armored. 9 14-inch guns means that these ships are a threat to pretty much all of my ships, and as much as I would like to destroy them quickly, I don't think I can. They have too much armor for that. I might get the occasional partial pen over there, but it's not really going to do as much as I would like. So unfortunately, we're probably going to have to wait until we get into torpedo range, and until such a time, focus our efforts on something else. These guys need to smoke up, because the Zhujiao already took a hit. These are... What are what exactly are you circling? Are they doing some sort of rain dance? What's going on here? This is very unusual behavior for these ships. Target the destroyer. I know that targeting a destroyer is not necessarily going to impact the battle in a major way. Usually. This time around, it might be slightly different. Because by engaging the destroyers, and potentially the light cruisers after that, I'll be able to disrupt their ability to detect torpedoes. If the battleships don't know that the torpedoes are coming, well, they're going to be in a really bad state. Unfortunately, until such a time as when I'm actually able to land any battleship's torpedoes, well, I'm going to be receiving a couple of 14-inch shells, and hopefully not at the cruisers. I'm hoping that my battleships and battle cruisers can take the hits, because right now I don't really have the holding power with the heavy cruisers to do that. We did get a couple of hits on these destroyers, that's very nice. I think we're getting a ton of attention from the secondary firepower of these ships, which is significant. It's 18 7-inchers and that quad 8.5-inch gun that they have. So it's... what the... It's substantial. You should be gone. Yeah, we're well within torpedo range now. Okay, start turning to starboard. You guys are going to work over the next DD. Excellent. We got one DD down. Launch angle isn't great. But, you know, let's send it anyway. You are going to target the lead battleship, which is over there. You're going to target the lead battleship as well, and the Meiji is going to target the trailing one. This way I hope to spread out my torps a bit, potentially causing more disruption for the enemy fleet. Okay, that's their destroyer dead. Now I want all of you to start using your main guns. So Shift, Alt, right click on these guys. Because this is a light cruiser, I believe. Yeah, 7-inch guns. Ooh, good damage. Really good damage. I also need to get rid of these because they are definitely capable of throwing torpedoes right back at me, which would disrupt a lot of my plans. Alright, battleships. Execute the torpedo attack. Secondary guns on the second target. Torpedoes away. 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 Excellent. Okay, that should give the enemy quite some disruption. Yep, that is the torpedo attack that I was fearing. Thankfully, they do seem to have taken an interest in my cruisers, not the battleships. So as such, they're not that dangerous yet. The problem is, these guys, yeah, it's the classic one. They fall back. Because they do that, they are opening up the torpedo attack. What are you shooting exactly? Linyi. Alright, I can handle that. Come on, I want it completely gone. No survivors. This thing has to get taken out. Its buoyancy is already crippled. And that should just about seal its fate. You're sending Oh, hello, gentlemen. I'll pretend I didn't forget about you. Poorly. Engage the next one. Where's our wall of skill? Yeah, approaching the enemy battleships. This is going to be very difficult to dodge. Not impossible, though. Guys, why are you all on top of each other? This is horrible. You're going to go one way. You're going to go the other way. Yeah, I kind of don't want to torp the enemy battleships. Not from this range. But I think I might have to. Okay, do it anyway. Save. So make it accurate. Save. Zucheng. The problem with torping the battleships from this range is that I'm kind of giving away the whole plot. Which means that these ships are going to start changing course. And because of that, these torpedoes might miss. Nevertheless... No, actually, I'm wrong on that. The torpedoes from these ships are going to arrive after the main salvo. Because here's the main salvo. And Concordia and Governolo are running right into it. Exactly as planned. Now, they got one, I think, DD limping away. It's not going to be that big of an issue. My ship has taken some serious beatings. No torpedoes as of yet. As for you... That's 7 torpedo impacts. That's 4 on you, and you're not even done yet. Yeah, that's another 4. So the Concordia has flooding in 7 compartments, and I think the Governolo is going to be pretty similar to that. Coty dies. The last of their CL's gone. So now we just punish those battleships with everything we have. So long as it's high explosive. I want to eliminate the crew. I want to make sure that that flooding continues as long as possible. Now the second wave of torpedoes has arrived. This is the one that came from the light cruisers and the destroyer. The Concordia just took even more flooding. I think they now have about... Yeah, there's still about 7 or 8 compartments which are taking on water. And on top of that, their crew is doing very, very, very poorly. This is kind of the result that you can expect if you have a battleship, or any ship, that you have a lot of armor on, but no torpedo protection. In their case, I probably would have gone with a bit less main belt and a bit more torpedo protection. Now, I'm not necessarily one to listen to because my battleships generally don't have that much torpedo protection. Anti-torp 2. It's not exactly going to win a whole lot of prizes. but it should keep me slightly safer than anti-torp 1. The ship is still flooding. Governolo is badly burning. We've nicely dodged the second spread of torpedoes. The heavy cruisers are doing okay, but they're not exactly in a position from where they can aid the destruction of these ships. Well, arguably, considering their state, they don't really have to. In other fleet news, the Italian ships might be doing some pretty decent guns. I used to have 20-inch guns on my ships, and on some of the battleships, I have now replaced those with 16-inch guns. 12 16-inch guns on the bow. That should be enough to start punishing these ships, hopefully a lot more reliably than with the firepower that I was, well, hoping to get on the 20s. But that kind of didn't materialize. The 20s, I mean, you kind of get these ships in campaigns anyway, the 20-inch guns. At some point you go, yeah, well, I can build one, so I probably should. You probably shouldn't, because they have failed me more often than they have actually been a credible threat to the enemy. So, to that end, I've decided to switch back to 16-inch guns, and hopefully with that make those 100-something thousand ton warships still feasible. Now, these battleships are definitely not going to make it to the end of the day. It's just going to be mostly a question of what is going to get them. I'm not even too sure at this point yet. Governolo has 4% structural integrity remaining. Concordia has 5. Plenty of fires. Their damage, 11k. It's not negligible. 14k for them. But 446,000 for me, so... in that case, I have won the battle. Yeah, Concordia is probably going to succumb to her structural integrity failing. And as for the Governolo... could be crew. 39% crew loss. Come on. Oh, you flooded! Interesting. Didn't expect that to be the cause of death. Alright, finish her up. Because I am still interested in taking the fight to mainland Italy. And because the Italians were at least temporarily distracted / engaged by and with the Germans, they did lose a couple of battleships. And losing 2 more here means that their ports are even more open to striking. Port strikes means that an invasion is easier to do. Not straight up easy. No invasion ever is. But if you start reducing their port strength, it is definitely easier to do. You, and you. Retreat. Okay, battle done. We're going to let this one destroyer tell the tale of how the Italian Navy suffered another massive defeat at the hands of the Chinese. In other news, I was able to conquer western Spain. It was touch and go because the invasion was sitting on, I think, 56%, but I managed to get it done. And with that, I get another, well, relatively poor territory that I still have to defend. This only leaves northern Spain, and the game has already offered me a couple of chances to take it. The problem is, I need 550,000 tons in order to actually have a shot at invading northern Spain. Of course, for completionist purposes, I do want it, but right now it is not really a priority because it's not offering a threat. The Italians are. The port of Naples is completely devastated. They're down to 42,000 tons. The port of Gaeta definitely is not. So these guys are still going to deserve some more attention from the entirety of the fleet. Speaking of the fleet, we have the Gang over here, which is another of the older Lord of Chains with the 620s. But Hailing has received her 12 16s. And I believe that the Sunsuke, yeah, also 12 16s. So we're slowly but steadily moving up with these ships and making sure that they have the firepower they deserve. In order to guard / protect all of the territory they have and boosting the army logistics, I am actually building 40 new ships, 10 light cruisers, 20 DDs, and I have also received a couple of the orders for the Don't Buy Me ships. And oh, we're still finishing up 2 battleships as well. That should net me a nice amount of money. This is going to also net me a good amount of money. The orders are being placed by Greece and Brazil. I don't really like having to supply Greece with them, because I might still have a Greek ship operating here and there. With my fleet, that is. The Brazilian fleet, I don't mind. Like, if they want to get ships like that, it's fine. I'm not that likely to go to war with them, nor that likely to have them involved in any war, because there really aren't any territories left to take. Well, the Russian territories, perhaps, but they're not exactly particularly valuable. So I don't really have a haste in taking those over. Money-wise, 1.7 billion negative monthly. It is turning into a very expensive operation to refit some ships, build a whole lot of new ones, and build for export market. Thankfully, I should be able to get a bunch of money once those battleships complete. As for the war with Italy, the invasions are still going on everywhere. I'm invading over here, and this is... I've taken Djibouti. I'm now taking British Somaliland, and with this fleet, that is a given. I have taken over Yemen, and Yemen has decided to move to the east. Oman, interestingly, is a zero-income province. I don't think I've ever seen that. Every province generates at least something, but Oman is an exception. It generates nothing. Maybe we'll find oil there someday, hopefully. As for the rest, the trucial states, like this is 13 million. It's mostly a joke. Over here we have all sorts of invasions happening. The Italians, with backup from the Brits, are making their way into Ethiopia, which is ridiculously profitable at 10 billion. We have my own invasion force making absolutely no progress and having somehow lost more troops than the actual army. Don't ask me how. Over here, not much is happening. That is still going quite well, but the one that I'm keeping an eye on is this one. The invasion of southern France. If this succeeds, and it looked like it will, we're going to get southern France, which is very valuable at 11 billion. And of course, with taking southern France, with taking the various islands over here, with taking western Sicily, and potentially invading central Italy, we are definitely chipping away at the Italian nation. It only remains to be seen how much more I still need to chip away at. Round 2 for all the torpedo spamming warships. I'm a bit unhappy about this fight, because they keep picking the ships, well, I mean, I understand. They keep picking the battle fleet that has fewer battleships, but they do get the torpedo ones. So we got a Gran Alessandro one. This is the one that does have torpedo protection. I'm not sure about the Gloria Veneta class. It seems to be a new design. They can build it in 26 months, which is slightly less than the 32 months that the Corriera takes. They also got the Temperanza, which is a 16-inch gun battlecruiser. That is a substantial threat. Interestingly, they're dead slow. They can do 20 knots. That is really, really slow. Considering that they are doing 20 knots, yet cost 2.7 billion, it leaves me to question where all of their money has gone. It's not their torpedo launchers. It's potentially their armor, I guess. It's not their engine power. So I'm very curious to see the Temperanza and exactly how this thing got so crazily expensive. Here we go. Scott and the Meiji are moving in. For some reason, the Grumpy Gamer guy and the René Pascal are doing, I don't know, jockeying for position or something. Just that their jockeying is not ideal. As for the rest of the ships, let's put these guys on loose formation. We have a couple of cruisers, and we have the light cruiser and the DD. These guys are actually sailing very close together for what is supposedly a loose formation. Now here we find the Italian 18-inch guns. Scary, but glass cannons. This is their battle cruiser. I don't really see a whole lot of special things about this. Normally, a battle cruiser is something that can outshoot anything it cannot outrun. In this case, you could make the case that, well, it can definitely outshoot a heavy cruiser. But it's supposed to be capable of outrunning anything that it cannot outshoot. it can definitely not outrun a battleship. At least not mine. Mine can do about, what, 25 knots in the case of the Grumpy Gamer guy, and that's actually, or 26. That's actually a relatively slow battleship. The other ones, Cursed Fish, they can do 33. So I'm not exactly sure why we're looking at a 20-knot ship. A 20-knot battlecruiser. Doesn't really make sense for me. Now, I am going to have to suffer the wrath of those 18-inch guns for a while, and I don't like it. But, well, such is our reality. I am going to push in with all of my ships, because I do believe that with the heavy cruisers and a couple of torpedoes from the Meiji and consorts, we should be able to land some torpedoes, as well as inflict serious damage with the 13-inchers, the 9-inchers, and the 15-inchers mounted on the Grumpy Gamer guy. Unfortunately, it does seem that my light cruiser is having a fairly rough time of it. We're not in torpedo range yet. Well, at least not of them. Let's torpedo the heavy cruiser then. I don't really want to because I consider it a bit of a waste. But this thing is costing me a light cruiser. So it's going to have to go. Alright, let's have you guys fall back. I hope that my battleships are able to inflict some serious damage on this cruiser. But not so much so that it wants to fall back. Thankfully, it's not part of a division, so ideally it should not want to fall back. Because it doesn't have a division partner to fall back into formation with. That means that these torps might very well strike true. As for my René Pascal, taking some damage, but otherwise fine. The heavy cruisers here are inflicting damage upon some other targets. And we're almost in torpedo range. Yeah. Focus your fire on this stuff right here. We need their warning ships out of the way, so we can once again use our trick. Where are you going exactly? I think they might know that the torps were there. Oops. Don't mind me. Just trying to fall back. Oh, that's really good damage. Inflicting a lot of damage there. Alright, gentlemen. We are going to now torpedo the battleships. They might not really care for the torpedoes. They're torpedo protection 3 or 4. But any list, any flooding we can inflict is going to make it more difficult for them to train the guns. As well as, of course, damage instability that will cause these ships to start listing. Cost them accuracy. That's the objective. So, all of you, torpedoes when available. Ideally soon. This light cruiser is probably up to no good. Come on, get out of the way. Yep, there we go. Battleship is coming under torpedo attack from 1, 2, 3... 3 cruisers so far. I think the Mechamatic is going to pitch in quickly. We appear to not get through this thing with AP, so let's switch to HE. As for the rest of you, I am concerned about this heavy cruiser and its torpedo capabilities. But that is all resolved. Outstanding. Okay, that leaves me with a couple of other ships here. We're going to start punching holes with the main guns, and the secondary guns are going to have to take care of this escort group. As for you, I'm surprised they're not dead yet, but they are turning broadside. That'll be the end of them, but it might also open up that torpedo capability. So let's not wait until something like that could happen. Come on, you're done. You got no structural integrity left. Done. Next. Oh, what? We landed a torpedo on a destroyer? Oh, the Borea got in the way. Unless you're acting as anti-torpedo protection for the battleship, this was poor maneuvering on your part, because you not only got hit once, you got hit twice. Ooh. You also took a hit. From a friendly. All of you guys are not really coordinating that well. The Chao Yong, I guess, did take a torp. Yeah. Okay, that's it for you. You're dismissed. So we can keep everybody alive. Focus on the Etora Fiera Mosca. Ooh, that's good damage on the... Ooh! Turn away, turn away, turn away. Battleship status, all green. Oh, there you go. Gloria Veneta. Took a torp. The Corriera did not take a torp, but took some serious damage from 15-inch guns. And there's the torp. Okay, what range are we fighting at? 9 to 10 kilometers out. Okay. Turn to port. What the fuck? Why are you still here? Pascal, you can do far more than that. You don't have to wait for this slow grumpy guy gamer to, or grumpy gamer guy to catch up. Corriera should have serious damage control issues. Yeah, damage and stability, that's what I mean. 48%. CAs. You're dodging torps. Excellent. The Ettore is going down. Then we have the Coracere. They did launch against the battleship. I just don't know when. Let's be a little careful and presume that those torps are already on the way. You guys can just disengage. I don't need the light cruiser and the destroyer anymore. Put pressure on the Corriera. It has no armor. Or at least none to speak of. Scott. Humor me. Torpedo the Gloria. Starboard launchers away. It's about 20 torps crashing into that ship, ideally soon. Judging by the maneuvering of the Corriera, she might get in the way. But there are worse ways to go than getting hit by 20 torpedoes. Well, are there? Your target is the battleship. No. Your target is the rest of the small trash. As for this battlecruiser, I still don't have a positive ID. It seems to have done almost no damage. 131. So I'm not too concerned with her right now. Ah, crap. Scott lost all of the torps. Okay. I see how it is. Okay, Meiji, send another greeting card. Target Corriera. Torps away. Rene, turn starboard. Good damage on the DD. Coracere is down. Excellent. Well done. Next target is the Borea. Oh, you're getting smacked. 15-inch shells hitting the Corriera very hard here. Wasn't the DD also called that? Coracere. Oh, okay. Different. Oh, they dodged. Well, not quite. They took one torp for 168 damage. That's not a whole lot. Putting it mildly. That's not a whole lot. Alright, Grumpy, turn to port. Oh, Rene was turning to starboard, yes. We still can inflict some serious flooding on the Corriera here. More importantly, we're killing off their crew. And because we're killing the crew, the ship is not getting very good damage control. Yeah, keep pushing this thing until it actually sinks. 15-inchers should be able to quickly eliminate it. Corriera is down. Excellent. Next one is this. I'm uncertain if this guy is turning or not. Yeah, they're definitely turning. Torpedo speed on these things is 49 knots. Means we can bridge this gap very quickly. Ooh, boy. 15-inchers doing good work. 13-inchers doing more, but also have more 13-inchers. I think the ship might go down to structural integrity loss before the torpedoes ever get there. Okay, and what is so special about this battlecruiser again? Because this is that 20-knot thing. Okay. Propulsion, diesel 2s. Diesel 2s doing 20 knots is nothing special. Modern armor, Barbette 5, anti-torp 5? Wow. Triple hull bottom, anti-flood 3, reinforced bulkheads. A Citadel 4. Super heavy shells. 21-inch torpedoes with a generation 1 radar? Okay. You're a bit of a weird thing. No matter. I have 15-inch guns, and I think they'll be sufficient to lay waste to your precious new battlecruiser. And all of its billions that went into it. These things are still, yeah, 2.2 billion. They didn't change them much. Works for me. Your armor scheme is not great, except for the main belt. That's okay. I'm going to try to get the Pascal into a position from where it might be able to torpedo it. I don't think Anti-Torp 5 is going to do a whole... or is going to have much of an impact. Oh! That is really unfortunate, dude. Flash fire. And it took all of the ammunition with it. It has no ammunition left for the 16-inchers. I'm surprised that it actually went up that fast. It is still using cordite and TNT, though, with super heavy shells. But Barbette 5 should provide ample flash fire protection. A bit of a weird ship. Bit of a weird ship. This bit of a weird ship is also going to have some issues with torpedoes. They got cramped crew quarters, so it might not necessarily be the end of that. Oh, don't ram! Fuck, that's going to cost me some damage that I didn't need. It might not necessarily take a whole lot of damage, but the crew is not going to enjoy it. Yeah, they took 7 torpedo hits, but look at how little damage that actually did. Detonating their ammunition definitely helped, though. One was a dud, one was another dud, an aft belt torpedo hit for 600 damage, 4 belt 1100. Yeah, like it's not doing that much. It's not doing that much. Yeah, and this is the last of their ships. Okay, finish it off. AP ought to slice right through that ship. Oh, yes, it is. Almost 7,400 damage. Courtesy of the 15-inch guns from the Grumpy, which has done 56k. And these things reload in 33 seconds. It's a very good weapon system. 2%. I think structural is going to give in. That ought to do it. Done. Okay, 2 more battleships and 1 battlecruiser out of the fight. After a lot of arduous fighting, it has been done. Southern France has been taken. This is a very nice addition to my territories. We're not stopping there. We're immediately moving on to northwest Italy. Look at the army having a blast here. No pun intended. Ah, this is probably the last of Spain. Yeah, northern Spain is what they want me to take, but 566,000 tons. It's not something I really have available. I am striking the port of Gaeta. We still need 700,000 tons to destroy. Good lord. That's a lot. Well, we're invading with twice their number, but with my army logistics, 22%, I don't think it's happening. Their army logistics is 100%. I think the time for peace has come. My chances of taking more from the Italians right now is not that good. Like this can work, but it's a rounding error. This can work eventually, but no. I want to see how much more the Italians can just give up simply by pushing them into a peace treaty. Considering I got 1.1 million victory points versus their 200,000, so let's say I can start shopping for about 900,000 victory points. I'll take it. By the looks of it, seeing as we're in 1959, the Italians have decided that no, we are in fact not getting northwest Italy. With a mere 9,000 men, they've destroyed an army worth 142,000. Thankfully, this no longer factors into victory points, because that would have been a bit weird. Unfortunately, my intervention has had so far no effect on the peace treaties, but I did completely reduce the port of Gaeta to nothing, and that just leaves Naples. Maybe we can take central Italy. Because why stop at northwest Italy if you can just strike right at the heart of the country? Why not aim a little bigger? I can definitely use a few more battleships out here, and the beer guy has undergone the refit to 16-inch guns. I think that's about all the ships I have here. The Lin Yi is repairing. Should be done quickly. As for the rest, I think I have every single battleship that I have in service. Well, maybe with the exception of one out at the Italian coastline. Yeah, the Shi Heng is the only one I have in Asia. It is a Zhejiang. It's relatively old. But with 9 17-inch guns, it can definitely hold its own. As for the rest, like, everything else is at sea. I only got a couple of heavy cruisers. And that's it. And the rest is light cruisers and destroyers that are just spread out everywhere, trying to defend the rest of the territories that I hold. I don't think this will work. I don't think this will work. With 800,000 tons, yeah. Maybe. If I can get another port strike or two, that would really help. Because that would soften up the ports a bit more. Oh, there is a port strike coming up. Maybe. Maybe. Let's see. Austria-Hungary admires the power. Well, that's lovely. Britain and Germany. That's bad news for Britain. I'm not sure why they want to try and fight. But what? Oh, I was at war with them? Cool. Oh, sorry. That's an alliance. My bad. Oh, it's a port strike over there. That's the wrong port strike. Fine. They want to buy a Chengdu. No, sorry, Philippines. Australia wants to buy a Grumpy Gamer for 30 months. No, I'm not going into debt that much. Okay, as for the port that is available here, I can try and have a go at Sudan, because the army is not getting anywhere. The port is tiny. So, yeah, let's just try and take Sudan off of their hands. Oh, I can't do that right now. Chance to invade? 80%? Really? Wow. I got 156,000 tons here. You guys are going. We're going to take Central Italy. Not this episode, though. This is going to have another conclusion in the next one. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon for more.